half of the figures I buy every year, they end up being sold. This figure has earned a spot in my collection. Definitely, I'm not selling this one. Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven, today bringing you another scale figure review. Well, if you have been watching this channel for quite some time, you know about my opinions about So no Frieren. Unlike the masses out there, unlike most anime fans, I did not enjoy the anime as much. There were some cool episodes involving action, but overall, it felt slow and boring to watch. However, I may not like the anime that much, but I certainly did like Frieren's character design. I saw this figure in stock in a local toy store. It is like 30 minutes away from my hometown. And the price was too tempting not to get one. Like, it was very reasonable for the standards of a local figure store. I think it was like 660 Malaysian ringgit. I'm putting the conversions on screen. Yeah, around that range. And when you factor in shipping cost from Japan to my country, and also inclusive of taxes that you pay to the customs, that is a very competitive price, not too different from importing yourself, as long you're paying full MSRP price, obviously. So I was thinking, why not just get it? So here we are, Kotobukiya's 1/7 scale Frieren figure. This was released back in around September, October, I think, last year. And that is also the reason why I'm reviewing this figure a little bit late, because I'm sure other YouTubers have reviewed her at this point, right? So I took my time, I focused on other figures that are newer first, like Genshin Impact's Official and even Epson Studios' Raiden Shogun. The official MSRP asking price of this Frieren figure was extremely reasonable. If I remembered correctly, it was around 18,000 Japanese yen. And Kotobukiya has always been known to give us quality figures for not too much money. They are like one of the brands to go for if you're looking for value. Price versus quality, that perfect balance over there. Now, as for the height of this figure at 1/7 scale, we are looking at 24 centimeters head height. That is the tallest point of this figure, which is about right, since this is a lolly baba elf of some kind. She is not very tall to begin with. And I have both good news and bad news for you guys regarding this figure later on. Firstly, you might be wondering why I'm putting this elf, this Frieren over here on an isekai truck, right? No actual reason. I just needed a riser to make the figure taller up in case I crop in my video closer, then you can see the entire figure. Moving on to the box, right? The box does feel a little bit excessively big for the figure, right? I mean, compare it side by side, so that does affect your shipping cost quite a bit, but I'm very happy with the box. Number one, it is pretty. Number two, it is really tough. It is solid. This is a very good box, no complaints from me. And I have forgotten to mention earlier that at the price I paid for this figure locally, I did get the Kotobukiya exclusive face part, making the deal even better. So, with the assembly process, very simple, very direct. Just plug the figure into the base, and there are two small touches, right, that make me appreciate Kotobukiya even more. Number one, I have always complained that Kotobukiya love gluing their figures permanently to the base. I really hated that. I'm a figure photographer who prefers to make my own custom dioramas and scenes and bases and so on. So I want to be able to unplug a figure from a base. Gluing it permanently is extremely annoying, and I'm happy that Kotobukiya stopped doing it. Or at least for this Frieren figure. Maybe they heard my complaints, I don't know. And the second thing over here, which is a very nice small touch, which not every brand does. This is something very considerate actually. So instead of splitting this stuff over here into two fragile parts and forcing us to insert it into our hands and then, assembling it, we get two separate hands over here. We just swap out her hand over here and we can display her with or without her stuff in her hand. The stuff is permanently glued into these hands over here. This is the correct way to make a figure. Like, it reduces the risk of breakage. Moving on to the sculpting of this figure, right? This is not a very detailed figure. Most of Kotobukiya's figures, they are not the very high-end type, not the extravagant type with a lot of intricate details, but that is fine if you look at the price point. This is 18,000 yen. And Frieren is a character where her outfit is not very detailed to begin with, so Kotobukiya does their usual job. Their sculpting is always on point, and the face on this Frieren figure is just absolutely beautiful. I'm not sure if they could have done it any better. This is a beautiful face, and of course, you get two face plates over here if you get the Koto exclusive. Personally, I prefer the default one found in the standard version because Frieren is not a character where you see her smile very regularly. She is like always poker face, you know. So I would prefer the original face because it reflects her character a little bit more accurately. This is still nice to have though. And yes, the earrings are extremely fragile, right? This is the one thing where you have to be careful if you are swapping out her faceplate for the other one. Do not break her earrings. And the front hairpiece over here is extremely tight. Yeah, I struggled a little bit when I was trying to remove the front hairpiece for the first time, and after 3 times, it still feels kind of tight, and I had to use this plastic film over here to cover my fingers so that I don't accidentally scratch the figure's paintwork with my fingernails. So it is on the tight side. If there is one thing I don't like, I wish that the front hairpiece is a little bit looser. Yeah. Okay, the face, a full 10 out of 10, regardless of whether it is the Kotobukiya exclusive version or the standard version. I don't think you're missing out much if you only manage to get your hands on the standard version because they are so similar. I think only the smile, the mouth region is the different part, so you'll be fine with the standard version. As for the rest of the figure, right? Well, the sculpting is just average, and then the folds on her outfit is really nice. I wish that there is some shading. I think that the shading is like very light, not very minimal in a way. And that is not necessarily a bad thing if you look at how So-So no Frieren was animated. The anime style is like light and light colors all over, not very contrasty, and not much shadows in the animation style. So I think this paintwork reflects how she looks like in the anime. So for once, I won't complain too much about the very light paintwork on her outfit. However, you will see a lot of heavy shading on her hair as well as her boots, the most obvious part. So it is not like this figure of Frieren by Kotobukiya does not have any shading at all, which is common for many lower budget Kotobukiya scale figures. This figure does have quite a little bit of heavy shading depending on where you're looking at, and this is where I really like about this figure when it comes to the paintwork section. The good news for this figure is that the quality control over here is almost impeccable. I could barely find any flaws with the paintwork, be it scratches or paint transfer or ugly gaps, seam lines, those kind of things. None of that to be found over here, but if I were to nitpick a little bit more, yes, I'll show you guys this specific part over here taken with a macro lens, which is a lens we use to photograph insects, by the way. Yes, you can see a slight hint of paint transfer the closer you look at that, well, diarrhea brown color area bleeding over into the white color region of her outfit. Yes, I call that diarrhea brown, by the way. I wish that it was gold color, to be honest. Anyways, this is so minimal that I would consider this as me nitpicking. I will still rate the paintwork at 8.5 out of 10 maximum, because this is not a detailed figure. Not because the paintwork is bad, nothing bad about the paintwork. The sculpt would be 8.5 as well. Yeah, which is a very high score, by the way, coming from me. Well, if you're looking for some Lolly Baba Kani underneath, there is nothing to see. It is just flat dark grey color, not even a slit in the middle. So, too bad if you bought this figure for some Lolly Baba Kani, you are not getting any. Go and buy the Edgy figures by Native. Yeah. Moving on to the last part of this figure, which is the base. Well, you know what? I wanted to complain that Kotobukiya, where are the metal foot pegs? You never include them in your figures, and until today, there is still a criticism of mine in pretty much every Koto figure ever made. But at the same time, number one, this is a very lightweight figure. She won't ever lean. And number two, well, the foot peg over here, they are not very thin, round plastic rods, you know. It is a solid chunk of rectangular plastic block. It is a very thick plastic block which connects her foot to the base over here. And as a result, the figure is unusually sturdy and stable for a figure that is standing on one single leg. Like, if I were to try my best to just shake a figure like this, like, see? She is not wobbling a lot. That's the thing. So this is a very sturdy figure, and I could attribute that to that thick plastic block foot peg down there. So for once, I am not going to complain too much about the lack of metal foot pegs over here. It works for this figure at least. And as for the base, we are indeed getting a diorama base, which is not too big, yet very attractive to look at. So the base, I would say this is a 10 out of 10 base. Yes. So overall, my opinion and my conclusion for this Frieren figure, it is a must-have for fans of Frieren, absolutely. Are there better Frieren figures than this one? Yes, there is one. At least one that I can think of, the one by Design Coco, which comes as a set, yeah, with that purple hair girl. What's her name again? The one with big melons. Anyways, I'm too lazy to think right now. But the Design Coco version is like 40,000 yen. It may be the ultimate Frieren figure, but it is 40,000 yen. And for me, I am pleased to have this one and skip the Design Coco version because 40,000 yen, I will spend it on nicer characters that I prefer, be it Nikkei or FGO, right? This is anime character and not seasonal anime in a way. Just one season, 38 episodes I think. So I don't want to drop too much money into anime characters compared to game characters, right? So this feels perfect for me. And this is a figure which I will keep instead of selling. Half of the figures I buy every year, they end up being sold because I need to adjust the amount of space I have. If I keep buying 50 figures a year, then I would run out of space in 3 or 4 years. And I've been collecting for over a decade over here, so I need to sell stuff. And this figure has earned a spot in my collection. Definitely, I'm not selling this one. So until then, if you found this review to be helpful or informative, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel for more anime figure content every week. Thanks a lot for those of you who joined my Patreon as a member. It does not matter whether you are free or a paid member. Please have a look. Link in the descriptions down below. And I also have a Discord server. Once again, I'm just going to keep reminding you guys, I want more people to join. So all of the links are down in the descriptions below if you're interested. Until then, thanks again for watching and I'll see you guys very soon. Goodbye.